I am so excited today to introduce my friend Flora. We are going to be discussing nursing struggles, which I know a lot of new moms go through, and just maybe a little bit so you guys can connect with us and find some new advice. So go ahead and introduce yourself and tell your story.
I'm Flora. This is Shay. She just turned 6 months. She's my first baby, so this is all like crazy new. We were pregnant together, so our babies were like a month apart, and we were like largely pregnant, walking together, trying to get these babies out. So, but I mean, just how crazy life is. We just got together like for the first time since they were born.
Yeah.
What, like yesterday?
Oh yeah. Yes.
So it's been a lot of work, and not that that was anything I wasn't expecting. I was expecting work to be, you know, the way things go and trying to learn everything, but I never realized how hard breastfeeding was going to be.
Oh,
like.
I think it's by far like one of the main struggles for women, I think, don't you think?
Oh yeah, and I think the hardest part too is that, I don't know if maybe I just didn't take the right classes or read the right books because I felt so prepared, but that was this thing I thought was going to be the easiest, or like the most natural and like comforting, and you'd like bond, and it was horrible.
Oh yeah. And I think a lot of people, like we were talking about yesterday, there is a lot of like different scenarios that make nursing harder, like tongue ties.
Yes.
And what you had Thrush, right?
Yeah.
And
so she was born like early on a Friday morning, like 2 a.m. and she latched right away, which they were like, oh, perfect, you know, and it's weird. It's a weird feeling initially. And then, you know, the first 24 hours that babies are born, they're just like, if they're not sleeping, they're nursing.
Yeah.
Like they're just
exactly.
And the lactation consultant came by when she was close to 36 hours old, I think. And I just told her, like, this hurts, like, so bad. Like, I'm crying every time. And I've got a decently high pain tolerance. I mean, the 50-something hour labor, I was like, you know, whatever. But then she was like, well, let me watch her latch, which is like, was weird anyways, because people are just, there's like no shame. Like, I mean, I work in a hospital, but still it's weird when you're the one and you're like touching and feeling, and so she watched her latch, and she literally asked me, like, probably I'm overshare, but she was like, does your nipple look like a brand new, like, fresh lipstick, like when she unlatches? And I was like, well, yeah. And she's like, okay, we need to further investigate. So they figured out she had this tongue tie, so they clipped it, which was kind of a like interesting experience to watch that too. But that was like from the start. Initially the first 48 hours was already like, we were already like 10 steps backwards, which made it extra hard. Yeah. And then, like I was telling you yesterday, we got Thrush twice. We passed it back and forth.
Yeah.
And that's horribly painful on top of everything else. So
is that, it's just kind of like, what is it? It's like a yeast infection right from their mouth to the,
And then so with her, like, we had to rub medicine in her mouth a couple times a day on a Q-tip, and then it grows best in warm, moist places. And she's like, and like their suggestion, which I mean was helpful, but at the same time, like, who has the luxury to walk around with your top off? You know, like if you're trying to get to doctor's appointments and stuff like that. You know, so there was. That took a long time to get rid of, and like the extra bottles sterilizing, and the pacifiers sterilizing, and
because you probably had to clean everything.
I mean, it was like, and then we thought we got rid of it, and 5 days later it came back, and so either one of us was carrying it. So that was another huge struggle, which I never even thought that was a possibility. That just added. I mean, it was like on a daily basis. I was like, if I can just get through one more hour. Yeah. And then get through one more hour. And then if I can get to 3 weeks of breastfeeding, I'll have achieved. Because I was so determined. I was like, I'm going to breastfeed.
You set like timelines.
And I was like, oh my gosh, it's been a week and I can't do this. I just can't do it. And then, you know, so I think like, I guess if I had to give any sort of suggestion, it would be like, don't set yourself up for failure. Like, just set like a realistic goal and literally take it day by day. Yeah. I mean, if I had been determined, like I had said I was initially, you know, when you write your birth plan and all that stuff.
Oh yeah, birth plans.
Which everything.
No. Life plan does not work. Just saying, like, it does not. I think there's a hard line between birth plans and certain people that are so stuck with them.
Yeah.
Because they can like expect to continue.
Well, and I just feel like it's not really something you have. I mean, aside from like the control of who you might want with you or what kind of support you want, but you really don't have. I mean, we have no control over like what exactly is going to happen because the babies and the bodies have their own
cycle and their own way.
Yeah.
Of doing.
I think that was a huge part of the breastfeeding struggle for me was just like, I'm gonna breastfeed and it's gonna be great and we're gonna enjoy it, and like I was just crying.
Yeah.
Like I was just miserable.
And I feel like too there also is nowadays a lot of pressure to keep breastfeeding, and that I think was the hardest thing for me was because I was going to like all these lactation people, like specialists, and they were like, no, you got it, just keep trying, like you're gonna make more milk and it'll just come. And I'm like, it doesn't seem like it's coming. Like
drink some more gross tea.
Yeah.
And like take some more nasty pills. Yeah. And like add these drops, and at some point you're like feel like you're just making these concoctions that But I mean, like I was saying, like again, working in the hospital, everywhere I turn it's like, especially in the maternity ward, it's like 10 steps to successful breastfeeding. And then I think in our area it's like breast is best, and I literally lived by the whole fed is best.
Yeah,
because I was so determined to make it work, and it wasn't working initially. And, granted, I am still breastfeeding, but like I was telling Taylor, at 3 months, I was like, I'm either going to quit completely or I'm going to have to start supplementing.
And there really is, I think nowadays people feel like there's something wrong. Like, you have to get past feeling like a bad mom because if you can't breastfeed, there's certain things that like stop you if you don't have enough milk.
Yep.
Like if you like even Thrush, I feel like there are some people that have to stop because of that, right?
Oh yeah. Absolutely. And for that, during that period of time, I was pumping and then giving her the bottle so that way
you guys wouldn't keep passing it.
We wouldn't keep passing it. And had I followed any of the lactation, I'm not at all discouraging. Listen to the lactation nurse if it works for you. But they were like, no bottles, no, at least the ones I talked to, no bottles, no binkies until she's at least like 6 weeks old to avoid nipple confusion. And I mean, that was out the window for us, like after a week, because it was on top of being like so emotionally, physically, mentally exhausted.
Yeah. At some point your brain needs to like rest.
Yeah.
And you, like, it's okay to introduce a baby.
Exactly. And then they want to know how much your baby's eating. I don't know.
Yeah, how are you supposed to know?
Let me just weigh this one.
Yeah,
like,
let's milk this one. Yeah. How did you do with like pumping? Is there any advice you could give for like pumping?
Yeah, I hate pumping. I still hate pumping, but I knew I was gonna need to like, if I wanted this breastfeeding thing to go as smoothly as it could go.
Yeah.
I knew I needed to get used to the pump because I had to return to work.
Yeah, and which is like more than probably 75% of moms. There's no real stay-at-home moms anymore, especially in this area where we live.
Yeah, you can't afford to.
Yeah, it's so expensive, and you have to have some sort of like supplementing, because you can't pump for 8 hours and then go to work for another 8 hours. Like, it just doesn't work.
No.
That's, I feel like, was the hardest struggle for me, was being connected to a wall.
Yes.
And not being as active as...
Yeah, and it's like not only people want to normalize breastfeeding, and that's great, but some people are a little more modest. I mean, I've breastfed in public, which is fine, but I always cover myself and stuff just because I get a little bit embarrassed. But if you want to like keep the whole breastfeeding thing going, you have to either breastfeed or pump. And if you don't want to do it in public, you go to a room, or then you go to a pumping room, and you just feel like you're missing
excluded out of all the.
I remember at Thanksgiving, I mean, she was 2 months, not even 2 months old, and I wanted to have a glass of wine, and so I was like, I'm gonna pump before and then have wine with dinner, and so I didn't even get to help cook or whatever, even though no one expected me to. I just had a brand new baby, but I'm like, I just spent 20 minutes pumping, but now she needs to eat. So then, like, I mean, being a mom, you become second, but sometimes you have to do what's right for you. And I think that's why we're making this video, is to show that you can supplement and you can give formula that is okay. Yeah.
You know?
And like, you're not
like, don't feel
worst mom, and your baby's not going to like crumble from all the diseases.
I promise.
Because, and honestly, I was having a really hard time getting her to gain weight just doing the breastfeeding.
Yeah.
We had a really hard time with her acid reflux, and she was vomiting. And
oh yeah, talk about that. Like, what advice can you give with like the reflux and dealing with a baby that's a little bit harder, you know?
Yeah.
Like certain.
So we had a really hard time from the get-go. Like vomit just everywhere. I mean, this tiny little thing is just like making so much vomit.
Yeah.
So that's another stressful thing. Like on top of all of it, you like feel like you did all this work and you got your baby fed and they seem content and full, and then she pukes it up everywhere.
Yep.
And then, you know,
your
boobs are empty, and what are you going to do? So she was not gaining weight very easily. So we ended up putting her on acid reflux medicine, which also around here people are like very much into not medicating if you don't have to, which is fine, and like to each his own. That's the one thing, I guess, if anything, I learned not to be like any sort of mom shaming.
Yeah, that's like
it's the worst, like feeling judged. So we ended up having to put her on it's like Zantac, like acid reflux, and that helped. But she was still she was 8 pounds when she was born, but then just couldn't retain any weight.
Yeah, retain it.
Not barely growing, so we started supplementing with formula, and that's, I swear, that's the only reason I'm still able to breastfeed. I swear, is because I felt like if at least I can't like physically feed her and nourish her, I can still make sure she's healthy.
She's healthy, exactly.
And it was like this, like the clouds opened up, and I just felt like it's okay. Like
I remember texting you and being like, I gave Axel formula for the first time. Like
it's like just admitted this guilt, like you know.
But that's like also what's really important is you need to feel like you're not a bad mom, like because there's 100 other women that are nursing in your area doesn't mean that you have to continue that. And if they're gonna give you a hard time for that, then you just need to stand up for yourself, right?
And I feel like even if you go out in public and you nurse, you're gonna get weird looks. If you go out in public and you give a bottle, you're gonna get weird looks because she doesn't breastfeed. It's like, do you know if this is breast milk or formula?
Like what really is it?
Like it could be cow's milk. How do you know? I mean, not that you give it, but still, you can't. You just can't do that. You can't base every decision off of another person's like validation, and
everyone's journey is different. Like everyone has a different story. Everyone, like your story is so different from my story, you know. And just because like we had similar like ways that we thought about it, but there's somebody else that has, you know, that's maybe scared to switch to formula because
like. Honestly, I felt like too, like the power of like your simple text message. Like I gave up, I gave him formula. It's like you didn't give up. You just changed your route. And I was like, oh my gosh, like I won't be the only one if I do it too, you know? And I think that's hugely important, is to try to find someone that like a friend or just a fellow mom, a community or someone just to like make you not feel like you're just a pile of poop. If you do something that's like,
which is so sad. Like, I mean, we shouldn't feel like that because we have the authority to be a, you know, like you know how to be a mom. It's just that we're worried about everybody else.
Exactly.
And that's what you have to get over.
And then too, I feel like also how you and I both had these ideas of how we wanted things to go. Being first time parents, you have,
there's a plan, and you stick to it, and sometimes it changes, and
I've like eaten my own words more in the last 6 months than ever in my whole life.
Totally. Also, what, I think we were talking about this yesterday, what products did you use that helped? Like, that you felt like maybe eased some discomfort?
Well, for like the horrid pain, like the pain that the nipple pain, I found that the Mother's Love nipple cream was very helpful for me. And what was nice about it was I didn't have to wash it off before she latched.
Oh yeah, because some of them you have to
like with the kind I use in the hospital, it felt just as great, but then I'd have to like rinse it off, and you
don't have time to go
and you're like so sleep deprived, and you're like, I just want to lay here. I just want to lay here,
not get up.
Exactly. So I found that nipple cream to be very, very helpful. One of my best friends actually told me about it because she has a almost 3-year-old, and she really liked it for her first experience nursing too. So I thought that was really helpful. I'm glad that
you had that.
Yeah, that I had that. Because you like go and research these things, and there's like how many options?
Like thousands of, it's with anything, like.
Where do you even start?
And that's also too, researching, I think like for the first month, you're going to be so stressed out of like being a mom, and then you're like, let me just research what's wrong, and then researching is not good.
No, like limit your Googling. Like if you're a first time mom or a second time mom or like not even a mom or just anything, I feel like the power of the internet can be very helpful, but very like mentally damaging. I mean, I suffered from a lot of anxiety and like some postpartum depression, and a lot of that, excuse me, a lot of that was, not a lot of it was because of, but I feel as though if I had spent less time second guessing myself
and just
by
make
Googling
sure
things and just been like, no, this is what I feel like in my gut and I'm gonna do it. And if, you know, John and my mom, John is her father, John and my mom, like I can bounce ideas off them and they think it's great, then I don't need like the validation of someone who wrote an article that may or may not have any like real
who may have not any research.
But it's insane how quickly you can second guess yourself based on one Google search. I was Googling myself sick, like actually.
Yeah,
sick.
it happens with anything.
Yeah. Like they say, like stay off WebMD, just stay off Google.
Yeah, just stay off it all.
Yeah, have someone else do your Googling.
Just live your own plan. Just like live your own thing, and then if you need help or advice, seek people that you trust that are going to give you an opinion that you can either take or leave, because there's going to be a lot of people that, a lot of like Facebook groups, a lot of social media stuff that you can go and ask questions, but you don't really know them. And
that, and too, you like Taylor said, we had a lot of similarities, but we had even entirely different stories. So you can't compare anything to anybody, which is, I think, having a community is great, because you might totally agree on one thing with one person and then disagree with another thing, so you have more resources than just one. And if you are going to Google, have like, you know, your partner or your mom weed it out for you, like Nolan was saying.
If you're starting to freak out about something, have someone, a significant other, your husband, a friend, like really make you come to realization that your baby is okay, because it's totally does not end up being,
because you can search one thing and it leads to another, and like before you know it, you're in this like rabbit hole of like, my kid's not gonna live through the night, like my kid, I'm not doing anything right, you know. One day at a time. If you're gonna breastfeed, if you're not gonna breastfeed, that's totally fine too. If you're gonna do both like we do, either way, they're going to keep you up at night, and they're going to cry, and they're going to poop everywhere, and, you know.
And that's just the way it rolls.
That's just the way it goes.
Parenting.
But yeah, I think if you take anything away from our conversation, just don't
be your own person.
Just do what you got to do, and if you're lucky enough to have good resources that you trust to just vent or like cry on them or whatever you got to do to keep your head semi above water, I think it's
important.
That's important. And you know, if you have a crappy day, there's always the next day, and hour by hour.
Exactly. Hour by hour. Yeah. I hope that you guys enjoyed this video, and you should subscribe to my channel, follow me on Instagram, How Moms Do It. Good luck. Bye guys, see you soon.